Certainly, all those who are framed within constitutions contemplate them as forming the fundamental and paramount law of the nation. And consequently, the theory of every such government must be that an act of legislature repugnant to the Constitution is void. These are the solemn words of the then Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, John Marshall, in the landmark case of Marbury and Madsen. The case of Marbury and Madsen is a textbook case on the concept of supremacy of the Constitution, or what you may also refer to as constitutional supremacy. Constitutional supremacy simply means that in the primacy of laws, the Constitution sits at the zenith. The Constitution sits at the acme, the stratosphere. The Constitution is the number one, the fundamental law, and that every other law must derive their validity from the Constitution. The concept of constitutional supremacy says that if there is any law that is contrary to the provisions, the spirit, the letters of the Constitution, such a law must give way to the Constitution, because it is from the Constitution from which every other law flows. The Constitution is like a fountain, and from there every other law must derive its validity. That is why some have claimed that the Constitution is the uncommanded commander. I must sharply state that the Constitution is meant to be the reflection of the will of the people. Indirectly, what we are saying is that the will of the people is the supreme law, because the Constitution is a codification of the will of the people. When we speak of constitutional supremacy, it dispels what is known as parliamentary supremacy. Parliamentary supremacy simply suggests the unlimited and the absolute power of the parliament to make, enact, promulgate, amend laws as it pleases. But as far as constitutional supremacy is concerned, those powers are fettered by the provisions of the Constitution. The joke that the parliament can make a man a woman might not be so in a country that practices constitutional supremacy, for the parliament must derive its legislative power from the Constitution. Take, for example, the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic. In Section 4 and Chapter 5 talks about legislative power, and in Section 9 talks about the amendment of the Constitution. And it then means that should the parliament, that is, should the legislature not follow the provisions of the Constitution, whatever it is that they do will be null and void. This is gathered from the holistic reading of Section 1, Subsection 1 and Section 1, Subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution. So the legislature does not have parliamentary supremacy. And you can see this as reflected in the case of A.G. Bendel and A.G. Federation, where the President of the Federal Republic forwarded a bill on allocation of revenue to the legislature, and the legislature did not follow